Hi everybody, you have made it to the last week of our class. I'm so excited for you. Congratulations. It's been really fast, but I really enjoyed reading all of your work and getting to know you a little bit during this summer semester. I want to use this brief video to help you think about organizing your analytical report. You'll turn in an outline and an introduction of it to get a little peer feedback on it by tomorrow, Tuesday. And then by Thursday this week, you'll have a first draft ready for us to meet for a conference and talk through how your report is looking so far. So I'm excited for both of those things to get underway. And this video is to help you think about building from your lit review research into your analytical report. So one thing that I want to emphasize, I've had a couple of questions. You're continuing with the same topic that you've done your annotated bib, your research proposal, and your lit review about. All of that is the base for your analytical report. So what we're doing now is taking the research we've already done and the knowledge we've already built in our lit review and then expanding it and rearranging it into the analytical report. So one thing that I want to show you right now in this video is in the intro and outline assignment, you'll see this outline starter, and I want to show you that and recommend that you use it if it makes sense for you as you start drafting, and just tell you how it works a little bit. So again, this outline starter template is what I'm showing you right now. I just want to talk to you about how it might work for you. So if I scroll down here, a couple of things that I know I can do is to use this handout as a way to start putting together the material I need for my analytical report and just build it out and organize the research I have and add in additional research. So again, we're using our lit review research, the research we gathered for our proposal, and adding more information in and rearranging it a little bit. So everyone will have the same introduction. Many of you had a great introduction in your research proposal that you can build out and make into the introduction for your analytical report. So everyone will have this same set of material in their introduction, and that's part of what you'll write for tomorrow to get some peer feedback on. Then, depending on the type of analysis you're doing, your data section, number 2 here, is really the body of your report. So when you look at data, instead think body, if that makes more sense for you. So intro, body, and then conclusion down here, of course. What we do in our data section or in the body of our report depends on what type of analysis we're doing. So remember in your proposal and a little bit earlier in this module, I asked you to think about whether a feasibility analysis, a causal analysis, or a comparative analysis would work better for your report. And that's what's going to decide how you arrange the body sections of your report. So if I look at feasibility, that works best if there's one solution and you want to investigate whether that solution is a good one or not. Causal analysis works best if you want to explore what the causes or effects are around your topic. A comparative analysis works best if there are 2 or 3 potential solutions and you want to set up a certain set of criteria and compare which of those solutions would work best and then recommend the best one based on those criteria. Once you decide which of those would work best, if you haven't already, if you need help, just let me know, we can talk it through. These bullets here are what will be the main sections in your body of your report. So what you'll do is just take these sections. If I was doing feasibility, I would do arguments in favor of that solution, arguments opposed to that solution or plan, and then go on to my recommendations to talk about why one plan or the other might work better. The same for causal analysis. If I was doing that type of analysis in the body of my report, I would first explain the problem, describe who's affected, and then explain the main causes or main effects or main types of causes or main types of effects, and then recommend solutions that match those causes or effects. If we look at our outline starter, the thing that I think might be helpful for you starts on page 2. This is more detail from that first page. So I want to show you a couple of things here. This is some instructions for how you might use this outline starter to build your own outline. And then here's an example. So I'm looking at an example report about the Libby mine disaster that's included in your sample reports. And the general topic from my outline up here, so he's doing a causal analysis, so I look up here and I see that a general topic down here is types of causes. So when I scroll down here, I know I need to write some sections about causes or about effects. So one effect that he's going to write about is health effects. So then in his section, he's using health impacts, and this is the evidence that he's using. So you'll see that I gave you the same type of template that you can use here. You might say effects is one of the general topics, and then your more specific topic to go in your outline from your report would be one specific effect. So up here, instead of just writing effects, he's using the outline starter and saying, I know I need to write about effects. One that I've researched so far is the major health impacts. And then he's going to plug in his evidence into that section of his report. Some of this evidence he already had in his lit review, and I want to point that out. So the Smith article, the Jones article, and the Edwards article, those were all research that he already had in his formal report, or in his analytical report. But then now that he's writing his formal report, he might decide, I need to add some more evidence to round out this effects section so that I can talk to the specific audience who's going to hear my report, not the scholars who might read my lit review. So he adds a few things. The CDC's explanation of what vermiculite does to the human body. He might not have needed that in his lit review because he was talking to experts who would already know that. And then he also added some other types of evidence here from a newspaper, the article that was written after the Libby mine disaster. He pulled in some interviews from residents right after the event happened, so he could talk about not only the scientific aspect of this, but the personal experience of the people who went through that mine disaster. He also pulled in a map into his analytical report. You probably noticed from the samples a lot of people use visuals there. He pulled in a map to show where the mine was and how the dust spread and created these bad impacts. The newspaper article and the map were not in the lit review, right? But in addition to this scientific research and peer-reviewed studies that were in his analytical report, he wanted to pull in some additional material to help round out that health impact section. And that's one thing I want to recommend to you, is that you look at what you have so far in your scholarly research, and then you bring in those other great sources you've been finding that help show the personal impacts, that help show actual people talking who've been impacted or who are experts who are talking about this phenomenon that you're researching. You can bring in all of those other voices right now to help round out these sections. You're using the scholarly articles as your base, but you're bringing in other types of research for support. So after you start thinking about your outline, what you'll do, again, decide what type of analysis you're doing here. Then, depending on that type, use this outline starter below to go from the general things that you know you need to talk about based on that outline starter above and plug in your specific information. So instead of effects, you know you're going to talk about health impacts and maybe environmental impacts. Instead of just talking generally about the problem, as it says in that outline above, you'll define the specific aspects of the problem that you already know about from the research you've done so far. I hope that this video helps you kind of get started with your report and that this outline starter is helpful. If it is not helpful, please don't use it. Please resort to some other types of outlines that have been helpful for you in the past. I look forward to seeing how you're going to organize your data and then meeting with you on Thursday to talk about your first draft.